All right, there's one more thing I'd like to add about the window schedule that's optional if you'd like to do it. If you take a look at the window schedule and you just sit back and you think about what it's trying to communicate, because it's not communicating where the windows are, like on the door schedule, we had each door scheduled as its own row because we're trying to show the location of each door here. But on the window schedule, we don't have a location column. And so it doesn't make sense. Each window doesn't have to have its own row. We could have a count, right? Maybe we just want to count each type of door or window so that when the contractor looks at this, he can look down, he can say, oh, type 2 is this window, and see how many he has to order of that window. That might be helpful to the contractor. So in that case, we'd want to edit the schedule. So I'm going to double click on the schedule, and I'm going to go over here to the place where it says sorting and grouping and click edit. And right now I'm going to go to the fields tab. So you see these tabs, they correspond to these properties over here. If I click fields here, it'll open up the field tab, but you can get to the filter area and the sorting and grouping area just by moving across. So let's go with fields first. We need to add a new field. There's one called count. So if I click count and add it, I want it to be the first column. So you see when I added it, it put it at the end of the columns. So I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to move it up so that it's the first item. And then I'm going to click OK. And you can see now it's added a count. So it's saying there's one of each one of these windows, right? But you can see type 1 window, there's actually 2. So there's one of this instance and there's one of that instance. We want to change that. So now we can go to the sorting and grouping tab. And instead of sort by none, let's sort by count. By type. So we'll click the type mark. And down here it says itemize every instance. That means every time there's a type, it's going to itemize it. So if I click OK, it's not going to do anything really. It's just going to order these from numerically one down. It's in ascending order, right? Now if I click that again, sorting and grouping, and I uncheck the itemize every instance, it will group. If it's the same type, it will group them together. So I'll click OK. And now there's only one row for type 1. And you can see now the count went up. So the contractor can look at this and say, oh, I'm going to buy 2 of those windows and 1 of everything else. So on this project, it doesn't make a big difference to make that change. It just gets rid of 1 row. But if you had more windows, like if I went in here and I copied this window, also here's a tip that I haven't taught you yet. If you want to create this window again, you either have to go to the window command on the architectural tab. You go up here, you click window, and then you have to scroll and find that same type. That's the long way of doing it. If you want to just click on the window, there's a little button up here. There's a command called create similar. And I got to find it. I don't even remember what it's. CS is the shortcut on my computer. I'm trying to remember what icon it is. Okay, it's right here. If you look under the create section, there's this one that's a square and then it's making more. It's called the create similar command. If you click that button, it'll automatically take you into the window command and pick the same family. So now I can just place it like that, and I've created the exact same window. So now if I go to annotate and I tag this window like that, you can see it's the same window, and that will get added to our schedule. So now window type 4, you can see the count has gone up by 1. So now it's saying there's 2 type 4 windows. And if I wanted to add this window to the primary closet, we could do that again. And just so you are aware, let me show you the difference between copy and create. So if I was to click the window and I use the copy command, I first have to, I have to click the window and then scoot it over, but it has to be on the same wall. Do you see how I can't copy it to a different wall? So it's just saying you want to copy the window down the wall. That's not what I want to do, so I'm going to delete that. If I click on the window and do create similar, it just takes me to that same command for the window and loads that same family for me. And then I can place it over here on a different wall. Then I can tag it. There we go. And now, if I look at my schedule, at type 3, we've added another type 3. So depending on how complicated the windows are in your house, you can add and subtract. The other thing you can do is you can use the match command. So maybe I want the same window in the closet on both walls. So now I could go over to the modify, and I can use that little paintbrush tool that I used before. Right here, it says match type properties. Click that button, and I'll fill the paintbrush by clicking the window I want to copy, and then I'll press on the window I want to change, and it'll change it back to a type 1. So now if I look at the schedule, there's 3 type 1s, and only we're back down to 1 type 3. So that's also a good trick to know. You can do that with anything. Like if I wanted the same cabinet, I could use the create similar, and it'll automatically load that cabinet into my tooltip. I could do it with doors. If I wanted the same door, create similar, and now I have that same door I could put somewhere. So that's a very handy command. And that's a handy thing to know just about the schedules, that you can add counts. We could modify the door schedule the same way and not worry about numbering each location, and we could just do a count of each door type. And then we could change the tag. Right now, instead of reading the number of the door, we could change the tag so that it read the instance, or the type mark rather than the instance mark. Anyways, hope that didn't confuse you more, but these are important things or concepts to know, to keep in mind, so that when you advance in Revit, you know what's going on. It's one thing to be able to copy me, but it's going to be easier for you in the future if you not only copy me, but you understand what's happening as you copy me, so that you know what you're doing. And then you can take that knowledge and you can change everything to do what you want it to do, because you know what's happening and you can predict what's going to happen if you make a certain change. If you just are copying me, then you might have a harder time in the future getting things to behave the way you want them to behave.